Hello everyone, and welcome back to Crater City, where things really move quickly. This stood behind me, as you can see, is the sign for the one-stop potion shop, which has been sitting here next to our smeltery for quite a while. So I figured we get that all put up together here. I'm probably just going to be doing much as with the smeltery. I'll probably just do the aesthetic parts of this off camera, because they're fiddly and they take a while, and most of you, I imagine, are here to see me fiddle with interesting stuff and or fail horrifically at them. So the redstone's what I'm going to be focusing on today. What we're going to be building is a how should I put this? A sort of potion combination machine. It'll be a machine where you can go over to it, flip a few levers, push a button, and it will spit out 3 of whatever potion you happen to want of any kind of like stretch. So like if it's only 2 items, like say a basic speed potion, or if it's like 4, like a splash slowness potion, for example. So that's what we'll be working on today. Now there is quite a bit of complexity to this, and I've just spent more time than I'd like to mention trying to get a timer running onto the chicken farm we have over at community storage so it doesn't keep backing up with eggs, which you may or may not be able to hear going in the background. They probably can't really hear it over those dang cows. But whether or not I go completely nuts in the course of this, I really haven't done much to make this design. This design is actually more based on someone else's, which I will link in the description because I cannot remember their name. But I did a bit of optimization. I switched over the kind of hopper timer they were using for the most part, because the one they were using I found it to be a bit unreliable. But I will get more into that as we go along. So hop into my view and we should get to work. So, as with a lot of our projects lately, it seems we're going to be needing a few ingredients. The first is, I've got 27 here. I believe the actual number that you'll need is somewhere closer to 22, 23 hoppers. I'm not entirely positive because I have one to start with, and then I built a whole bunch more and all sorts, so it's not sure. You will need 12 droppers, though. That is a specific number. I'll need a few redstone comparators and about 22 redstone repeaters. That number I think is accurate. I cannot remember. This thing gets kind of dense, so it's a little tricky. As well as 2 sticky pistons. Sticky pistons kind of a definite need. At least 1 button, and a few redstone torches and a bunch of redstone. And of course, some chests. You'll always need some chests for something. So, let us begin with me taking a screenshot of the one-stop sign so I can rebuild it later. Now, I am just packing stone tools at the moment, so forgive me while this takes a little bit. That, by the back there, is the original sort of automated potion maker that I was working with. Haven't used that in a while, partially because the last time I could potentially have used it was the dragon fight, which, alas, no one alerted me about, so I don't have it on camera. So that means that for the 3rd time in a row, I still have not fought the Ender Dragon, which I was a little bit miffed about, but that's a story for another time. And this is some wheat that Dazer, like, ran past, put up a torch to prevent mobs from spawning, and then for some reason planted wheat here. I don't know why he did that, but, oh well. Apparently he did okay, considering there's not really water nearby for a while. Oh, which reminds me, a bucket of water. That's another thing you'll need, because you need to refill those water bowls, don't you? So, the way that this is sort of a similar methodology that we're going to be building on the large scale, which is you have a hopper, and you have a bunch of hoppers really going into and out of this, out of one specific brewing stand. The items come into the hopper, and they always go to the left first, and they just sort of back up as they go. And then they can only travel into the brewing stand one at a time, because there's only the one slot, so unless they stack, they can only go one at a time. So consequently, you get a sequenced progression of these potions going in. So, let us get to work on that. Let's just tear this down. I know I didn't need the pickaxe for that last one, but I will. And stick these in here. And stick these in here. Just keep it all there so I know which one's meant to what. And there's the brimstone. So, the first thing we need is a 2x12, left and behind, a 2x12 area, which is going to effectively be our floor. So let's see, 2x12 is 24, 24, over 4 is 6. So, there. Hey, but no, got it right the first time. Let's leave a little bit of space for a wall. Keep it out of the way. Move, torch, get out of the way. Maybe my axe. My axe. Oh, come on. Stuff's being a little bit odd today, but it's presently just me online. And I haven't gained any more depth since the last episode. Let's see, we're going to need another one. 3 blocks away. 1, 2, 3. And that is the beginning of our wiring section. There we go. Okay. Now we need to attach redstone repeaters back here. And this is where things get a little bit tricky, because pretty much all of these need to have a specific setting on them. So I need to remember what it is. Now this one at the end here, I think it needs to be 4. The next ones need to be 3. And I think it might be the same ones all along. I'm not positive. So. Except for this one, which stays exactly as it is. That might be the rest of it, so that should be fine. Unless these have to be 1 1. We'll put them on 1. I will tweak these, and I will let you know if I was wrong, but the person I got the majority of this design for did do a fairly decent instruction on it. Ooh, I probably dropped that again. So, if you have any issues, by all means go to their video, which again, I shall link. I need to grab some blocks to build with now, so some rubbishy blocks kind of things, because you're not going to see these. That should do. Okay, here is where we start to build in functionality. Because, let's see, we need a torch on something. Now we need to put torches all along here. I can get some different wood, so we don't have to use up all the birchwood, because birchwood is actually in short supply around here. This birchwood is largely gathered from this chest here, but I don't really want to be using all of it. And like that. Perfect. That's more than I need, but probably don't need that much anyway. Okay, over here. Right, so torches on the blocks that the repeaters are going into. And we need blocks on top of this. Now, ideally, you'd have some more pretty blocks here, but I'll switch that out later. And we need torches on top of those. Now, this is where the actual selection part comes in, because if we put levers on these, and have those levers down by default, so powering, then these will be turned off even when these repeaters get a charge and turn off these torches, which allows us to select which ingredients get shot into the brewing stand. So that is the first step of things. And right, we're going to need more. Okay, so back here. Okay, there we go. And of course the sun is setting already. Well, we didn't worry about that too much. Do I have? I have no more cobblestone. Wow. Oh, it must all be over at the Gemini skeleton farm. That'll be where it is. Is there any over here? There's one. We'll take that one. Okay, so I'll just demonstrate if I can. So over here we have that. Turns all of those off, which in turn causes all of those ones to turn on. But if we have a torch here, like that, it turns on, here we go. That is now the only one that's turned off still, because it's still getting power from here. So we have torches on all of these, we can individually select which ones are on or off in any specific combination. And this is another reason you don't use cobblestone with leaves, because they have the same texture. Do. I need it that way. There. Yeah, so ideally, well, you want these all turned on by default, so it's the ones that are pointing up generally that are going to be the ones that are in use. And the reason you need 12 of these is because there is Neverwort, there is 3 special ones, that's redstone, glowstone, and gunpowder. There is the inverter, which is fermented spider eye, and then there is the 8 other primary potion ingredients, which are things like sugar and glistering melon and whatnot. Done that again, jeez. Okay. Now this one is going to be for Neverwort, so we'll just leave it off. And we can now put in one of our chests, at least our output chest, just on the side of that. And this is where the hoppers come in, because now we start getting to complex things. So we need 1, 2, and 3. And our our brewing stand goes on top of that. Now I'm trying to rebuild this from memory, so if things get a little messed up, then you know why. Because that's always the known thing, is you build something once in a creative world and it works fine, you build it on camera and it all goes to pot. And not the good kind of pot either. Okay, so droppers are what we are going to store all of our ingredients in. And now the reason that we have all of these repeaters on different delays is the exact same reason, in fact, that we have arranged all of our ingredients in specific sequence here, which is they're going to take a specific amount of time to travel down, and we need them to all be dropped into the hoppers in sequence. So we've got Neverwort, which has no delay over here because it has the redstone wire instead of the repeater. It goes in first, then it's the rest of the ingredients, and then it's everything else. So basically the gunpowder has to be the last one in. Okay, and now we need that to get our what am I thinking of? Our water bottles in here. So let's rally together another chest. Doop, doop. There we go. And this just feeds directly into the side of the brewing stand, so that's where all the potion bottles, water bottles go. It's a little bit late. I may be a bit dopey. Okay, so that is the main machinery. So now we're mostly just working on the controls and whatnot, and the way that this all gets set off and such. So we need to we need to clear a few spaces at the back here actually first. But that's fine because we are well within our range here. Now I think we're going to need about 3 or 4 blocks back here. We should find out very soon. As far as I haven't been jumped by zombies yet, the place has expanded back here quite a bit, so there's no longer as much darkness, although the torch alignment is driving me crazy. Like, there's just torches absolutely every which way. I'm okay with doing that for like a really large build where there's nothing else going on for very long, but this is going to drive me crazy very quickly. Okay, so we need a pulse generator going into these repeaters now. So let's just ditch some of this excess material that we're carrying. These 8 hoppers are specifically needed for the timer. Get rid of you. Right, so we need, let's see, we need a, trying to see if I can remember this. Let's see, we need to have a little dog leg going around here for a piece of wire that's coming from a torch. Where's my big wires? And a repeater goes into this one. So I can't remember where they are. Okay. And up here, this basically just controls the potion's exiting. They have to, the timer specifically is keyed so that it goes in cycles of as long as it takes the brewing stand to go through a full potions, a full potion recipe. So that requires that we have a bunch going on here to make sure that this is working properly. So when the timer finishes, this gets tripped, that stops, this empties. Which is what we want, so that we can get our potions and we don't just get water bottles. Because again, as we saw before, they always pull out of the same slot until that slot is empty and then moves to the next one. But if the new water bottles are coming in, that slot's getting refilled. Which is problematic, to say the least. Okay, and there. Right, and now we need a couple of repeaters and one of our sticky pistons. And a block here to carry that charge. And around to grab our sticky pistons here. Oh, I'm getting a little bit on the hungry side of things. Right, now this should extend. Yep, which is fine, that's what we want. Although ideally I wouldn't be stuck inside of it as well. Yep. Let's try this that way then, shall we? There we go. And now along here is where we get into a bit more of the control kind of system. Because we need a block there for the signal to carry through. And the way that I control this system, which is a little bit different from how it was originally controlled, is I have a redstone torch back here. Ooh, all over the place. Which is turned off by the actual control system. So, another redstone torch. Enough one. But I do have the repeaters that I need back here. So there and there. And we need another redstone repeater there. So this one gets locked, so that if there is a pulse coming through, it doesn't pass because this is turned on. That is whenever this system is off, to be more precise. Now let's pop that. Yeah, that'll do. So whenever the timer is engaged, because you have to push a button to turn it on to trigger it again, that piston will be extended rather than retracted, so that the pulse from the actual timer can pass through. Whenever the timer is disengaged, that piston is pulled back so that the pulse can't go anywhere. So like that. There we go. Right, now, over here is where we need to put the wiring from the timer. And there is a bit of work to be done with this. It currently only works one cycle of the timer, and it's a fairly long timer. So it kind of works fairly slowly when it's going in big batches, but that's not too big an issue. Eventually I'll add in a little, what's the word? Edge latch, I believe, or edge trigger, that's the word. Which will allow it to work more routinely. Okay, now that needs to go into a block, to go into some redstone, to turn off one side of this timer, which we can now shove together. So that and that. This needs to go away, so that these now feed into one another. This is the main part of it, this is where all the actual timing is set. And another one of those down here. Now this one just needs one item in it, so let's just toss a bit of dirt. And this is sort of the T flip-flop, which tells the memory circuit, which tells it which way it's supposed to be feeding. And I can just need to take these down a second to get our comparators. Yep. There they are. And actually, it's probably I haven't messed up royally so far. There we go. So those feed from these hoppers. So if there's an item in those hoppers, the redstone torch turns off, and that hopper is then allowed to actually feed out. We also need two up here. And this is just going to go haywire at the moment because there's no items in it. But we actually need it's 4 stacks and 4 of just like any kind of junk item. We'll probably stay like dirt in there. So yeah, it's just spinning around and around at the moment, as you can see. And then we need another comparator, which comes out of one of these, into a bit of wire, into a block, into a torch, which I don't have, of course. I should have counted everything. There we go. Right. Now, one thing we haven't done yet, we have killed the dragon. I missed that, fortunately. One thing we haven't done, however, is face the... this isn't loaded. Yeah, so there you go. You can see it all quite happily going through now. It's all burning out because this is travelling way too quickly. So let's go and get our 4 and 4. Oh, there is a cat around here. I can't remember where it was, but there is a cat around there somewhere. And it looks like I might just get this done, or at least to some degree functional, before the episode is over. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stack, 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 and stack. Tidy that up. Okay, and that gives us the timing. Hoppers transfer items at a rate of 1 item per second. But I've had to tweak the timing quite substantially to get this thing to work properly. Okay, so as long as that one's done, as long as this one is on, this can't actually output any of its items because it's locked by this repeater. As long as this one is on, nothing can come out of the actual brewing stand. So presently, things are allowed to come out, but they can't go in. And this is actually basically all of the wiring that you need. You just need, ideally, some item frames or signs along the top here to tell you which ingredient is referred to by whichever of these levers, and pretty up a bit more, of course. And then everything works. I just need to wire up the actual control system, well, the push button part. Technically, you can have this run indefinitely right now, but we don't want to be doing that because it will burn through all of our ingredients very quickly, because people around here can be a little bit on the forgetful side of things. Do I have the materials on me to do that? Well, no, because we're kind of out of cobblestone, so I'll have to run over to Gemini and get that. But that, in a nutshell, a very quickly, very, very hastily explained nutshell, is the one-stop potion shop. So, I shall have this prettified for the next episode. I shall catch you next time.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and or favorite. Follow me on Twitter and subscribe to be notified of future updates. You can also check out the website where most other content is uploaded. That's all for now. Catch you later.